Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. This is Rocky, and this review will be for episode 6 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the episode. I really enjoyed the moments between Bobbi and Hunter as we get a little more information as far as their past marriage, and we see why it kind of broke up. Their personalities kind of don't mesh well together, kind of that, fire and ice kind of thing. But we do see that they do still care for each other, but it offers some really great comedic reactions from May, in particular when they're flying out on their mission and Bobbi leaves Hunter to go talk to May and, kind of has a conversation with her about, do you still talk to who you were married with? And, just all May takes is just a look from her and just, it gives you your answer. So just the subtle nods from her. And then later on in the episode where May and Hunter go to save Bobbi, and Bobbi freaks out at Hunter for, saving her because she had it handled, and, they start bickering, and May's just sitting there, and she's like, really, guys, come on. Just that kind of reaction from her is just priceless, because May doesn't really have a lot of lines in most episodes. She just has a physical presence, and just seeing that comedic side of her was really awesome to me. Definitely enjoyed those. We get some really good fight scenes in this episode. In particular, towards the end, we have a fight between S.H.I.E.L.D, who is the Hydra agent in charge of men, and in the beginning they're dressed as S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, trying to, put another black mark on S.H.I.E.L.D. But towards the end, we get a fight scene between May and S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comic books actually goes by the character name of Whiplash or Blacklash, kind of depending on which issues as the name is interchanged. Now, there's a lot of characters in the comics that go by the name Whiplash. In particular, the most recent in the films has been in Iron Man 2, the Anton Vanko character actually went by the name Whiplash in the comics as well. So you may see some confusion there if people refer to Whiplash and, those different circumstances. For most comic fans, we're used to seeing a character name transition from one person to another. Happens quite a bit, particularly with villains. But for non-comic book fans, it can be a little off-putting if, someone's talking about the character and it's not the one they think it is. But going back to the fight scene, we get a one-on-one fight between May and S.H.I.E.L.D. where he's actually using a chain whip. And honestly, I could sit there and watch May fight all day. She's a brilliant martial artist. The choreography they have for her is just excellent, and it keeps getting better. So definitely enjoyed that fight scene, as well as we get a fight scene with Bobbi and Hunter versus the rest of the agents. Kind of see Hunter fight a little bit, and he can handle himself pretty well, but they actually fight together very well and have each other's back. So as much bickering as went on towards the end of the episode, you see that they do still care for each other, and in some ways it seems like Bobbi would still like Hunter around. So within this episode, we get a lot of those little moments of the characters. We don't necessarily get a big overarching, increase in the storyline, but we get a lot of little stories. Particularly, we get some more Skye and Ward scenes, where, Skye keeps getting distracted by Ward and talking about, her father and trying to find out more information about her family, and Coulson kind of scolds her on that, but she does go back to Ward later, trying to get as much information as she can. And, we find out that, her mother died in that small village she was found in, and that the people there killed her and were actually Hydra agents, according to Ward. So take that with a grain of salt. But we find out from Ward that, her father got there and basically just went crazy and just destroyed the village and everyone. We still don't quite know exactly what he is. I mean, we definitely know he's not human, and in turn that means Skye's not human, but what exactly they are, we haven't got to that point yet. Now that Marvel has actually announced an Inhumans movie, I imagine we might start getting some more callbacks to that within Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. As it kind of seems like that's where they're going with the obelisk or diviner item, as kind of connecting back to the Inhumans. As again, Marvel has to kind of come up with a way of having people develop powers, since they can't call out mutants or the X gene or anything due to the copyrights that Fox has with the X-Men franchise. So again, we get those moments between Skye and Ward, and just Ward himself. We get a lot of development with him as we actually meet his older brother Christian, who he had previously stated that Christian had forced him to harm their younger brother, and that Christian was basically just this evil person, and had Ward under his thumb. Well, we find out from Christian's side that it's actually Ward was actually initiating these attacks on their younger brother, and he saw, basically pure evil in Ward's eyes and things like that. So both are very charismatic, so it's hard to say who we can trust. But it was nice seeing that character development and finding out a little bit more about the history of the Ward as well during that. Now, we do get a moment between Ward and Coulson as well, where, Ward's actually pretty scared that that his brother knows where he is. I mean, he seems generally afraid. Now, is that due to the fact that, he's scared of his brother and what his brother will do to him? Or is it that he's scared of what his brother knows and how it's going to affect how those around him view Ward? So it's very interesting to see how they're playing off on that. Now, we also, towards the end, get where Ward is basically transitioned to the FBI agents and things like that. And I'm pretty confident that Coulson either planned or fully expected for Ward to get away from the FBI agents. I mean, he is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D, so it's completely possible that he may have arranged or, expected this to happen because he wants to use Ward to either track down additional Hydra agents or possibly Skye's father, or, it's completely possible, though highly unlikely, that Ward is actually working as an agent for Coulson. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they play off the character, especially that last shot of his eyes. And it's just, it's kind of an evil look, but kind of a serious look. So it'll be interesting to see how they play off Ward the rest of this season. I really enjoyed the scenes with Fitzsimmons and Mac. We're going to have to come up with a better name for those three. It's a nice long name, but it'd be nice to shorten a little bit. But they're really great scenes between them. And we actually, through the scenes with Simmons and Mac, get a reason why Simmons basically left. It wasn't just because of missions. She actually realized that, her being around was harming Fitz. Mostly because she still wants him to be the Fitz he was before. And, at this point, that's just not going to happen. And she's having a hard time, it seems, accepting him for who he is. And because of that, when he sees the way she looks at him, he's having a hard time accepting who he is. So very emotional scenes between those two. I mean, it's very heartbreaking. And like I've said previously, I really want them to get back to how they were. But, they're going to have to find a new balance. But I definitely still like those two actors playing off each other and throwing Mac into the mix. Where Max has, no previous interaction with Fitz from before. So he just sees Fitz as he is now and fully accepts him. And through that, Fitz is actually more competent when he's around Mac, it seems. So really great development there. There was a couple of things that kind of threw me off in the episode. I would have liked to at least seen some type of reference to the Obelisk or Diviner as far as expanding that arc with Skye's father and Daniel Whitehall, and how they're working with the Obelisk. I mean, they're obviously perfecting using its properties as a weapon, as seen throughout this episode with the discs being thrown by Scarlatti and the other agents. But just a little bit, just a slight scene just showing something about how he's teaching Whitehall how to, use it and things like that would have been a nice touch, I think. Another scene that kind of threw me off a little bit was towards the end. We get a scene where a man goes into a tattoo parlor and he's basically getting the alien writing tattooed on his body. It kind of came out of nowhere, which does tend to happen with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sometime. And I do fully expect them to, expand on that or play off it later on. But again, it just kind of threw me off a little bit. So that's not to say it wasn't a great episode. It was. But for me, it was kind of a low point of the season so far. But it's still a really great season and a really great episode. So I still encourage everyone to go ahead and check out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you haven't. Season 2 has been amazing so far. I expect it to get even better as we get the tie-ins with the movies, and with everything coming out now that they're actually announcing all these movies, that's going to give them more leeway within Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to kind of play off of that, and again to expand on the people with powers. And as that was kind of, in my mind, the main intent of the series originally, is kind of to show the background of everything going on, but also to fill in the gaps in the world with people with powers and how S.H.I.E.L.D's going to react to them and things like that. So I'm really enjoying the season so far. Really great episode. Not as good as the others, but it was still a really great episode. A lot of good character advancements and good emotional scenes with Fitzsimmons. So definitely appreciated that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments below. Did you like this episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or was it kind of a low point for you as well? Any comments or questions you have about the episode or any of the characters, definitely put those down below, and I'll be happy to go over that information with you and share anything I can with you. Hope you enjoyed the video, like I said, and if you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and share the video, and please subscribe to my channel so that you can keep up with me on a weekly basis with these reviews of Marvel and the other DC television shows going on and the shows that will come in the future. That being said, hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.